there's a lot of energy on this table, to be honest with you. You might want to call it a FAQ or frequently asked questions, but I'm just going to go over a lot of details that are continually coming up because some guys haven't seen the other pre-existing media and videos that I've done. Anybody that's trying to make power naturally, two things you're going to need: more fuel, and more fuel means more spark. These are the three primary coil applications that we offer: Denso 1NZ, 1ZZ style ignition coils, the R35 Hitachi coils, and then the IGN coils, which we offer from Haltech as well as Fuel Tech. Some guys may say, well, what's the best option for my application? Well, you kind of got to, number one, know where you're trying to go with your build as far as power level. For a moderate build, most of these coils will do the job. Some might be a little bit overkill. The number one determining factor where I push people towards the Denso coils are going to be if you're running on a factory ECU, which you can because the dwell settings that you need will not kill these coils on a factory ECU. But more importantly, the Denso coils do have the IGF reference that the stock ECU needs to reference when the coil has fired. And you can always tell that by if the coil runs more than 3 pins. So the Densos will work on your factory ignition, or not ignition, but your factory ECU, which is very popular with the 1J VVTi guys, because they're always, almost immediately, as soon as they start turning the boost up, even on the factory setup, factory turbo, their coils usually go kaput and give up fairly quickly. So that's the one thing that you will want to keep in mind. If you're on a factory ECU, the Hitachi and the IGNs, out of the question. Don't even consider them. You're going to be designated with the Densos. Between the bigger power levels, you can still use the Densos. They're very popular. I've seen guys on hub dynos like Mainlines, dyno jets, make 11 to 1200 wheel horsepower, not crank, none of this fictitious numbers, but true 11 to 1200 wheel. The reason that you can accomplish that is because even though it is the least powerful out of all three options as far as spark energy, you can get there, but you're gonna end up running a tighter spark plug gap. Overall, you're gonna not have as potent a burn because you're closing up the gap so that the excessive amounts of boost pressure that you're shoving in your motor aren't gonna blow out the spark. Now the downfall is, the tighter the gap, the lower power you're gonna make per combustion cycle. If you wanna maximize the power, even though the Densos can do it, bump up to the R35s. Now with the R35s, you're gonna be able to open your gap up significantly wider in comparison to the Densos. The Densos, most guys are gonna run between 17 to 19 for a gap. The R35s, man, you can get all the way up to like 27, 28 I've seen, which creates more, it'll create more power, a higher intensity as far as spark per cycle, and you still get a coil that ultimately, for the stock ones, you're gonna be able to keep them underneath the factory coils or underneath the factory coil covers, which means your motor looks nice and clean. If you wanna create more of a sleeper look, the R35s are gonna fit under the coil cover. Now, for the big boys, all out, no matter what you wanna throw at them, your next option, your go-to are gonna be the IGNs. Highest spark energy by far, not too far beyond the R35s, but definitively the highest spark energy. Now, your trade-off is all of the IGNs, because of their size, are going to use a bracket that will mount on the top of the coil cover or the valve covers, such as this, which means you will not be able to cover these. They're going to be fully exposed. So the other thing is, it will also drive up the final price of the kits. And part of the reason is not so much the cost of the coils. The fact is, you're also going to need a custom set of ignition wires or coil wires to go from the leads versus the other coils installed directly onto the spark plugs. So that's part of the reason why there is about $100 price difference between the R35 total price and the IGN. So keep that in mind. So you're gonna lose the ability to tuck these coils, and you're gonna need a set of leads. We do offer these leads on all of the kits. On top of that, the IGNs we do offer for all of the JZ motors, even the 1J VVTi. So we have 1J VVTi, 1J non-VVTi, 2J VVTi for the GTEs, and the GEs that are running either GTE covers or our billet valve covers. Now, currently we do not offer the IGN or the IGN setup for the GE non-turbos, but we do for the R35s, which you're not gonna lose that much. So we do have a specific bracket to mount the R35s on the non-turbo GE cylinder heads. And among these kits, the number one thing, besides the IGNs, because most guys tend to stick to the raw or the black finish anodized, on all of the others, we got pretty much the entire rainbow of options for colors. These are available on the R35s and the 1NZs for the Densos. Typically, the 1NZs are most popular in the black. They do come labeled for the orientation as front, middle, and rear, so it's really easy to identify them when installing. The R35s, there are 3 identical coils, so it doesn't matter if we don't use any identification. We just put our logo so everybody knows who it is. So, like I said, you have a ton of color options with those. The IGNs, black and silver, those are the most popular ones. So if you have any other questions or any other specifics that I didn't cover, go ahead, shoot us an email or contact us through socials. Use the contact page on the website on autosportsengineering.com.